Hi, Lindsay. Welcome to What's Your Next podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a writer living in central Pennsylvania in Harrisburg. I'm a former English teacher who pivoted to full-time writing in 2020, 2021-ish. I have two kids. I have two cats. One of them likes me, one of them doesn't.
Yes.
I started off writing humor. I was a humorist for a little while before pivoting to writing romantic comedies.
Yeah.
Notice how we have landed here.
Yes. I love your rom-coms because I feel like they're the true rom-coms. They're like a homage to our movies that we grew up in the 90s and 2000. They're just that kind of like humorous, but at the same time, actually, the real issues are being dealt with and in a way that feels like less threatening to feel them.
Yeah. I don't think I realized I was writing these like 90s, 2000 rom-coms until I started publishing and everybody was like, these are 90s, 2000 rom-coms. And I'm like, oh, good thing of art. That is what I was raised on.
Yes.
And that's what I have written.
Yes. And you know what? We need them because we're on a drought.
I just need them.
So I also have to say, you sharing your pre-interview that you actually love Wegmans, and I'm very envious because I used to back in college. I went to college at Syracuse, and I've been to Rochester. Wegmans was like a huge deal. I moved out of New York before Wegmans came into the city, so I didn't get to experience it. So I'm very envious. I live in Tampa, so I get Publix, but Publix is not the same. I have to say, not the same.
Not the same. My husband also went to Syracuse and he also graduated Syracuse and was like a Wegmans person and
Yes.
introduced me to Wegmans from Syracuse. And I also lived in New York and I also left New York before the Wegmans came.
Yes.
And the Wegmans that I go to is 35 minutes away from me. And I still go once a week because I
Yes.
love Wegmans that much.
Yes. Okay. So I have to tell you, Alicia Ray actually has it's mostly based on the Wegmans family because it's a family thing series, like a spicy romance series about the grocery store kind of stuff set in Rochester. It is loosely based on the Wegmans. So I feel like that's the Wegmans book. So if you want to go deep
I,
into spicy rom-com, Hate to Love You, I think it is a book. It's like a 3-book series. It's
I,
loosely based on the Wegmans family. She was writing in the local Wegmans.
that is incredible. I will really get that. One time last, not to go in such a but one time last year, I was in Wegmans and Danny Wegman was there. And I was like, this, you're my celebrity. I took a picture with him. I was like, you don't know what you mean to me. This is like seeing actual A-list girls. I was like, Danny Wegman, is that you?
Yes. It's our non-Northeastern readers may not get Wegmans, but Wegmans is just the same cult fiction as Trader Joe's and other grocery stores. It's so good.
Where I go when I need to pick me up. I just love it so much. Everyone's
Yes.
so happy. I
Yeah.
always say people's childhood dream was to work at Wegmans. That's the vibe that they give off.
Yes.
Just like, oh,
It's so good. Okay. So let's talk about your writing. What led you to start writing rom-coms? I know you mentioned you were a humorous fiction and then ended up were you a romance reader or did you found out that like romantic elements will be something adding to fiction into it and transition to rom-coms?
more the latter. I always wanted to be a writer. I didn't really realize I wanted to be a romance writer until I started writing humor.
Yeah.
So my childhood ambition was to be an author in children's books. And I've been a lifelong reader, but I always loved like mystery. I love everything really but romance. I was like into mysteries. I was into like all the mystery series. I was like reading a lot of Stephen King. I was like just going through all the Stephen King backlist. And then the pandemic happened. And I was like, I actually cannot read any more Stephen King. Like it aligned, like it's the pandemic and having my children happened like on top of each other. And between those two, Stephen King is like bad things happen to humanity and bad things happen to children. And I was like, all right, I'm out. And I started reading romance because I wanted just something lighter. I actually like I think my big gateway romance, I was reading the After series.
Yes. Oh my gosh. In 2010s, the peak 2010s of new adult inks. Oh, yes. Toxic.
Oh God, yes. I was teaching middle school and all of my students were obsessed with One Direction. And I started reading After. And then I was like, oh, let me just look up who this is based on. And I literally became obsessed with Harry Styles from reading After. That is the gateway in which I became in love with Harry Styles. And then I started writing humor, like just because I was on maternity leave. And simultaneously, my kids were home. My older daughter was also home because it was the pandemic. So we were all just like home. Well, not all of us, because my husband's a doctor. So he was not there.
Yeah.
I was like, I need something like for my own sanity. And I started actually writing humor about romance. I wrote this with one humor piece about like how the tropes are all like sort of the same, like in Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey, and like how they're all written about each other. And I wrote this humor piece, like this woman was like, I just had 3 hours of sleep. Now I have to go up to my job where my boyfriend runs the company. It's needing time to leave. And I didn't know what to do with it. And I ended up publishing it at a humor site. And it really just, I was like, I like this. And it
Yeah.
just snowballed from there. I joined Twitter. It was like, I always say it was like the golden age of Twitter, because all of the writers in 2020 were just like sitting at home. And they were just so like, all of the writers were like, let us tell you how to write a book. And I learned everything from Twitter. I had like agents approaching me on Twitter, like RIP Twitter. It was the time to be a writer. And it sort of snowballed from there.
Yes, I know Threads is trying to be Twitter, but Threads has become too toxic, especially in the book world. It's a petty, dreadful place to
I
if you want to feel depressed, you can go to Threads.
I literally deleted Threads because I was like, I go here, I feel upset, and I don't want
Yes.
that. I want Twitter where I just repost my stupid little jokes and people can be like, oh, I love laughing. Like, no
Yeah.
one Threads like laughing.
Yeah, no, it's in between. In the book world, it's just really toxic, and then in the non-book world, it's just the full thread lore of these cross-posting from Facebook drama that we're just finding out, and then just basically things you're like, oh, we're down a rabbit hole here. So
I'm trying to make Substack be better. It's not yet, but it's
I
trying.
think Substack is, and actually I like Substack better. I feel like it's a much more friendly environment and there's more community aspects of it. The notes section is not too grifty in some ways. You have to curate it. Every so often you'll see the growth hacks telling you like, I did this and I got $1,000,000. But for the most part, it seems to be a much more welcoming environment. There's not a lot of petty or dreading marketing or any existential crisis and stuff.
Absolutely. So hopefully that's enough.
All right, let's talk about rewrite the star. So the elevator pitch is we got forward TV, like a star who is going back to the Poconos because her ex is getting a high profile engagement, and there's a house renovation. Love that trope. And the sexy contractor, maybe the love interest, right?
Really.
So it talks us about the why readers should pick it up, and what do you think like readers will get out from the book?
So this is my third book, but it is my first one with a protagonist who is in her late 30s.
Yes.
And she's a single mother. So I finally have written a character who's the same age as me,
Yeah.
which is nice. And then I can put all of my just the millennial humor into it and not have to be like, no, she just really loves pop culture from the 90s, even though she's 22. So what I think it offers a protagonist who is a little bit older. She's a single mom. She is a parent to a child who is on the autism spectrum, which is thing that I base on my own experiences of raising two kids. One of whom is actually both of them are, but one of them is more so on the autism spectrum. So just sort of women navigating things like rediscovering yourself after motherhood, letting things be about you, letting yourself be the main character in your own story, letting yourself be open to love. And Marissa is a character who is taken a backseat in her own life. She's really centered her children and her children's needs and the needs of sort of everyone around her. And when she goes to the Poconos for the summer and she meets Jesse, the first time in years that she's been like, oh, I can also be open to love and things can be about me and I can be the main character in my own story again. And so that's what I think makes it different from other books that I've read.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's an older character. I think I'm in my 40s now, and I'm like appreciate to see older characters also falling in love and having a second chance. And it doesn't have to be devastating; it can just be an opportunity. I think also think about being a single mother and actually managing that aspect of it, because a lot of times once you have a kid, you're done. There's a whole different life and stuff. And also, it's just a fun beachy read. You still have the Hollywood persona. You got the home renovation, which we love, HGTV parts of it, and at the same time, we're just sexy contractor. What more can you ask for? I mean, they just come to your house. They literally come to your house.
All the right tools, give you what you need.
It's no bars, no online dating, none
Nope.
of that stuff.
Steak, just like that, organic. You just meet a guy who actually knew you from when you were kids. So you can trust
Yeah.
him. Good with his hand.
Yes, I feel like listeners, this is a book for the summer. You should definitely pick it up. Just enjoy, take it to the pool or take it to the grocery line.
It's set in the summer. It's set lakeside, so it's like I really wanted the ambiance of like you're soaking in all the summer vibes.
Yes, awesome. Lindsay, let's talk about the books that you actually read. So you actually do read rom-coms, which I appreciate. I love the recommendations. Also, you get recommendations from your friends and from even some Instagram accounts that actually read similar. We read similar take. Talk to us about what do you like about the rom-com genre?
I really like, and I guess this isn't really that shocking because I come from a humorous background, but I really like when books make me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
That really does. I mean, a love story is great, and I love a great love story, and I love getting all the swoons. But like when it's also funny, that really elevates a book for me. So I do like, I like that when I read contemporary, which I also do read. It's great, but it doesn't make me feel that same lightness when you're like reading a rom com, and it's just funny and it's fun, and you just know everything's gonna be okay.
Yes. All right. Let's talk some book recommendations. You got quite a few. I do want to talk about your latest book that you read because actually that's on my TBR. That's another summer book, but let's go with Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston.
I mean, I think this was really my gateway rom-com. And this book was, and I've actually talked about this a lot. I think a lot of writers can say this about Red, White, and Royal Blue. Red, White, and Royal Blue made me realize what kind of writer I would be. And it was the first time I had read, like you said, I was reading like After, and After was great, and I love After. But I read Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I was like, this is so funny. And it was just the perfect balance of all the characters were so sharp and they were so funny. And also like the love story was incredible and like the yearning was incredible. And it just had every single element that in my mind makes a book perfect. And I had conceived the idea for Red, White, and Royal Blue. And I'm sorry, I conceived the idea for Till There Was You. And I was writing out a synopsis, just playing around with what I thought it was going to be. And it was in my mind more contemporary. And I read Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I was like, oh, okay. And it completely pivoted how I ended up approaching that book because I didn't realize that I should be, even though I was writing humor, I did not realize that like I should be writing romantic comedies and blending those two things.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It like was like the book for me. And that was like, I was going to write.
Yeah, and I think in some ways, comparison to After, Red, White, and Royal Blue is not a toxic relationship. It's a complete opposite from it. And so it actually gives you full of green flags and communication and consent and having good parental relationships, like not having this adversary relationship. You took things from from what we normally see in the old school romance into this place of, oh, you can actually have a healthy relationship and you can just, despite all the challenges, you can actually be happy and loving.
And that's what I think everybody also wanted in 2020. Nobody really wanted to read toxic things. He just wanted to read like a warm hug of a book. And that is what that did for me.
All right. I actually love Tia Williams' latest one, The Misconnection, but I Love Some by Ricky Wilde is your next recommendation, and I can't wait. I know it's a little bit of magic, and I think that's what I'm actually scared of. So tell me why I should read this book.
I love magical realism. I love it. I also just ordered The Misconnection from Book of the Month. I love all of her books, but for me, this one is it is like just a quintessential romance. And if you don't like magic, it's really not magic in the sense that like magical things are happening. Magic in the timeline sense. So she met somebody who was basically like, I don't want to say like a time traveler, but there's a crossover of timeline. So the love interest is somebody who is not from her era.
Oh,
And it's kind of like an Ashley Poston sort of and writing the way that she does that. So, and I know she's on my list.
yeah.
And it's just, I don't even know how to describe like the way that she writes their connection is just like, I just was like falling on my bed swooning. Like it is so good. Her characters are so well written and like her plots are so strong. And like that book, whenever someone says to me, like, I want to read a contemporary romance, I'm like, you need to read this contemporary romance because this just has it all. Like it is just so good.
Yeah. Have you read 7 Days in June?
Have read 7 Days in June.
You have?
I love the 7 Days in June too. I would say that's my number 2 for her. But this me, it's like really special.
Yeah, because I love So Days and Junes. I feel like it does play with timeline. It does play with this stuff. Like your hero is so good. I read your books, like, oh,
Writing about you.
I've been writing about you all along in my literary fiction, very famous thing. And she's been writing about him in her paranormal, sexy romance.
Going to like, I mean, it's not that same thing that you're describing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like music. He's a musician. And
Yeah.
It's, I don't want to spoil it for you. It's so good.
Yeah. All right. I do love this one. Practice Make Perfect by Sarah Adams. I really love Sarah's books. They're really fun. They're contemporary. They're great. They're really great, I don't know, frothy books. You just read them and you just feel good about yourself.
Like the perfect word to describe them. I find when I recommend her books, they're hit or miss for people. Like some people like me love them, and some people are like, this is frothy, I guess is the word we're going to use.
Yeah.
That I like. Will from Practice Makes Perfect is my favorite book. I just love it.
Oh, so good. All right. We got an Ashley Postman, The 7-Year Slip. I actually love this one so much. This is the one, the time travel, the apartment, right?
Yep.
Yeah, supposedly. Because she does play with time. She does play with magic in all of her books and specific things. But I really love this one because it is set in two timelines, but they converge because there's a magical apartment. And God, I wish I had inherited an apartment like hers. This is my all her grave. This New York City apartment. I would die for it.
Lemon line, give us your apartment.
Yes. Give us a real estate. It's so good.
The hottest part of the whole book.
Yes, I would do anything. And then we have Happy Place by Emily Henry, which is a polarizing book to recommend.
It's my most controversial opinion. So
tell us why listeners should pick up Happy Place, despite maybe hearing some blasphemy and said, this is horrible.
Yeah, Happy Place. Listen, she's one of my favorite writers. In my mind, they're all the best. They're all so good. Happy Place was different, but it's just down for her so bad. And I think that's what just really sells it for me. There are just those moments. There's that one scene where he's helping her get undressed. And just the way that he has just spent his entire life yearning and being in love with her, no matter what they've been through, that to me is what sells that book. Like all the other sort of things that I think people complain about, I understand, but the way the love between those two characters. Yeah. Also just her sense of humor is just so, I still think about, it was like the first couple of pages when she's reuniting with her friends and they're like, you look different. She's like, I got a new face. And it's just such Emily Henry joke. And I remember reading this, I very love this book. But for me, what sells that book is just their relationships, that long history of always been you. And good. And it's a good summer book. I think this one's set in Maine. Yeah, so you get the Maine vibes. So you get the beach house, you get the friends and the stuff. So so it's really good. Okay, the one that I really want to talk about is Married with Benefits by Ellie Palmer. This comes out this year. It's super exciting. I'm actually going to go see Ellie come and talk to a couple of authors here in Florida. Talk to us about where we should read Married with Benefits. I mean, this book is everything that I have said that I love in a book. Every single line is funny. It is so funny. I just kept sending her DMs I was reading. I was like, I love this book so much. It's so funny. And the character, she reminds me of like, the main character, she reminds me of Eleanor from The Bad Place. Yes. I feel like it's very common, and I am also guilty of this. The typical trope is like, the girl is like very type A and the boy is like the wild one. And this is a little bit of a reverse of that. And it's like different and fun, but like it's funny and it's great. I love the story, but it is just, I was just enjoying myself so much reading it because it is just so funny and so well written. And like every line is great. I love this. All right, Lindsay, tell us where we can find you online. So, now I'm on Substack. You cannot find me on Thread. You can find me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram a lot. My handle is just Lindsay Hameroff. And you can find in my bio on Instagram, there's links to my Substack. I have TikTok. I would not say I used, but I have TikTok. If you want to reach me, you should send me a DM on Instagram. Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay, for being on the show. You're so welcome. Thanks for having me. Yes. Thanks for listening to the What to Read Next. For more book lists, cozy reads, and library tips, visit the whattoreadnextblog.com. Your next great read might be waiting there.